that would change my life forever. When I decided to go out drinking with my best friend Friday night, I had no idea what the night had store for me. We had a few drinks at the bar, and then we decided to go to another bar. Took a few shots before we left for the next bar across town. Ended up running into some friends of his that he knew, and one of them needed a ride home, so I said, I'll take my friend's truck and drive you home on the way to the next place. My friend went with the other people to meet us at the next bar. Last thing I remember is talking to her in front of her parents' condo, and woke up a day and a half later in the ICU of the hospital back home in Lima. This is when I learned that while I was driving down the private drive, I ran through the intersection of a main road and was T-boned by a SUV. I was in the S10. We were both doing 45 miles an hour, and I went off of him into a tree. Police officer on the scene had to revive me. I was dead on arrival, hanging out the passenger window. Went through the passenger window. Broke my neck, broke my rib, stitches, gouges everywhere. As soon as I woke up, the first thing I knew was I couldn't feel from the chest down and could not move my legs. We all know somebody who's driven a vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs. I want to talk to you a little bit about the effects of alcohol on the senses, show you some statistics regarding driving under the influence, and through my personal story, put into reality the consequences of driving under the influence. Short-term effects of alcohol on the senses is lowered inhibitions, poor concentration, slower reflexes and reaction time. There's a reduced coordination and slower brain activity, and some of the immediate effects of alcohol consumption. Sensations and perceptions that appear less clear and poor vision are also associated with alcohol consumption. Now I'd like to show you some statistics. Regarding drinking and driving, about 1/3 of all traffic fatalities in the U.S. in 2010 were related to drunk driving, according to the Century Council. Also according to the Century Council, drivers with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher are 380 times more likely to be involved in a fatal crash than a non-drinking driver. Next two statistics are from MADD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. The annual cost of alcohol-related crashes totals more than $132 million a year, and a person is injured in a drunk driving crash about every 90 seconds. An average of 12,000 people die each year in a DUI-related accident. This is from drinkinganddraiving.org. People always think that drinking and driving accidents always happen to somebody else. I was always one of those people too. People say, I'll be okay, I haven't had that much to drink. I'd always had the same opinion, and after driving this girl home and talking for a bit, before I drove off, the shots had kicked in and I was not okay to drive. As I mentioned, I was in a coma for a day and a half after my accident. When I woke up, couldn't feel, couldn't move from the waist down. It took about a week before the therapist got me to even sit upright, and I lasted about 10 seconds before I fainted. They spent the next week in ICU, putting me on a tilt table, trying to get me as far upright as I could. After 2 weeks in inpatient therapy in ICU, they finally shipped me off to Columbus, where I spent a month and a half in rehab. I told you a little bit about that before in my informative speech, but I had to learn to do everything all over again. Dressing, bathing, they did try and teach me how to walk. I can't walk, but that was a big part of it, was physical therapy, but OT, picking up little objects. Mom had to come and learn. She had to dress me for a long time after that. Took about a year after going into outpatient or inpatient therapy. I spent a year in outpatient therapy and had to live at home for about a year before I was able to be confident enough in my abilities to be able to come back to college and live on my own. The Basically, I'm here to ask you to don't drink and drive. As I told you, the effects of alcohol in your system, and giving you some statistics regarding drinking and driving. Most importantly, I've had given you the first-hand experience of the results of my drinking and driving. I have one more piece of advice I'd like to give you. When you're leaving a party or leaving a bar and you've had you've had anything to drink, and you put the keys in the ignition, just think about me and what I had to go through because of that. Thank you.